Hey, Blue Table fans, time to talk about a little bit of terrain. First off, for the Alien Temple projects, I'm still waiting for some specialty laser cut stuff. That is probably like a week, almost 2 weeks off, but it is going to be worth it. So the Alien Temple is just kind of on hold. I may fritz around and do some prototypes with it, but we're not going to start in earnest on that until I can get those specialty materials in. But today, not to leave you hanging, we are going to do an 8-foot board. I've already started on it. When you buy this extruded styrofoam, it's like for insulation, it has these guide cuts on it, which go down. If you look at the side, they go down about 1/4 inch, and they do help you. You can actually break this along those cuts, or they stand as guides, but for what we do, they're really just kind of a pain, and they have to be covered up. So I'm using some liquid nails, and hold on a second. So liquid nails, that's what that looks like. You just buy a gun at the hardware store. A gun meaning a squirter gun. I have no idea what this thing is for that sticks out. Do you have any idea?
Probably to poke the...
Some kind?
No, probably to poke the end.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's weird. It doesn't come off, though. Well, anyway, I actually had to cut it. The guys had to kind of drill this out, and it still didn't work because it was dry from the last time. So anyway, you just kind of goop it on like that. Now the problem is I don't want this to show up, you know, in these lines, because then I've replaced one unsightly line with another unsightly line. Oh, and by the way, be sure to wear some nice clothes while you're doing this, because that way you can get liquid nails on your shirt. So anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm also going to put it like in the middle, and then, yeah, just go ahead and stop that. All right, great. So I'm going to just go ahead and stop. So what I want to do is just create kind of a natural texture, but while still filling these. So you don't want to have some unsightly lines and then just add different ones. So let me tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do two things. First off, I'm going to do little mounds of it in the middle, too, to get some height on the board. And I am also going to take the heat gun when I'm done, and I'm going to just carefully, ever so gently, in fact, why don't I just show you how that works right now. Let's grab our heat gun, and I'm just going to create little, you have to get in real close to see this. I'm just going to create little, just tiny little pock marks and irregularities in the open areas, no more than 1/16 of an inch. And because you still want to use this for Warhammer Fantasy or other games that use movement trays, and so you can't have very notable depressions. By the way, this is just going to be a standard green flocked board. Oh, by the way, the third thing I'm going to do, so I'm going to fill the gaps. I'm going to create other raised areas with the liquid nails. And I'm also going to create the pock marks, which will have, you know, a little bit of texture to them. And I'm also going to sand this liquid nails. And it'd be great to have one of those little hand sanders. You buy them for like $50. Brr.
Which we have.
Do we have one?
Yes, we do.
Oh, great, because I was thinking I was going to just hand sand this.
No.
But quite frankly, if I'm careful, and bring out some other tools while this is still wet, I could probably do this so I don't have to sand it. Yeah. I'll probably just put on some rubber gloves and just, you know, smooth it out. So anyway, this is your flock. This, at our shop, this was $8. This will practically flock this entire board. I bought 3 just in case. This is a blended turf green blend T49, 54 cubic inches by Woodland Scenics. And this is really the only way to fly. This is pretty much a standard green color. And yeah, so we're making an 8-footer, and the reason for that is, it is for Warhammer Fantasy, because with the bigger games that you're playing, you're really losing out on a lot of because I was thinking, you're losing out on a lot of strategies. It would help if I finished my words. You people just keep up. You just fill in the blanks as I plow along. Which is, what if your board were 16 feet wide and 8 feet long? How now, cavalry? The effect of cavalry moving faster would really impact the game. You could really get around to the flanks and the rear with that. So I was thinking, well, to some extent, yeah, I think our boards aren't long enough when we're playing this game, and I think we're missing something in the game by not just having this size of board for those bigger point games like 2,500 points or 3,000 points. So here's our liquid nail board. I actually put on a latex glove and just kind of smoothed it around with my hand. And so I'm going to wait for this to dry, sand it, do the, as you can see it reflected here, do the heat gun work on it. And once it's flocked, it will be flat, but it will have just enough of a natural sort of character that it will give it sort of, I don't know how to describe it, kind of a convincing texture rather than just a flat board. I do want to make a note here, which is I do not like sand flocking boards. If you are going to do that, use the very fine sand, but ultimately it just starts to kind of wear off, and it's like playing on sandpaper. When a board like this is just absolutely, it even feels good. And as the years go on and you have to touch it up and paint it, reflock it, and the new flock is slightly brighter, it just keeps adding and adding and adding to the character of that board. Like that green board we have upstairs. It's one of my faves. And the other thing is it starts to get knuckle prints across the edge where I'm resting my knuckles on the board, so which gives it yet more character. So anyway, there it is.